Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. So today's video, going to be doing a quick little rundown of the Helium wallet. There's been a lot of questions regarding how to do different things and how to troubleshoot a little bit. So we're just going to briefly go over it. It's not going to be super long, but this will be just a quick one so you can see how to swap different things, right? So when you open up your wallet, here's your app. You're going to see your total balances, right? So you're going to see your HNT, if you have any mobile, your IoT, your data credits, and your Solana balance, right? So when you scroll down, you'll see your options there. They did add your Solana address now easily. So before you had to go into settings to get your address. Now it's just here. Click on it once. It's going to copy that address. That way, if you want to add Solana to your wallet to do swaps or staking, you can do so, right? So you just have your address there. Go into your Coinbase or your Phantom wallet, wherever you have your Sol, and add it to there, right? Because if you do want to swap on a DEX or if you want to stake, you are going to need more Solana. They did preload some, but it's not really enough to do anything, right? So as you go here, you can see the deposit, swap, and send. So if we go to swap, that's how you swap with the Treasury. A lot of people are asking the difference between the Treasury and the DEXs. So this is the Treasury swap, right? So you hit understood, and it's going to give you your swap amount if you swap through here. This is not going to be your best rate though, but let's go through it real quick. So I don't have any mobile tokens, so I would go here, switch that to IoT. My IoT tokens should be showing up, right? So you click on here. I can put the amount, or you can just go to max, and there it is. And if I want to swap, it'll be there. So there's my max amount. I hit confirm, and now it's going to show approximately how much HNT you would get for that amount, right? But as we're talking about, this is not going to be the most ideal way. Okay, hopefully in a couple of weeks, they're supposed to continue to add more and more HNT to the Treasury, and this should get better. But now that there's more DEX pairs, even on the built-in one here, it is a much better rate, right? So we're going to go over that here in a second. So if you do want to swap here, which again, I really wouldn't recommend because it's not the best rate right now. So again, the 10th, just so we can compare, 10,398 would get us about half an HNT, right? So not too good if that's what it actually is going to be. But again, give it a few weeks. All right, so let's cancel that. Let's get out of there because we're not going to do that. So again, we have our balances there. One troubleshooting thing. Number one, make sure that you are on the most current app. Okay, so go to settings. If you're unsure of which version you are on, under the app version, make sure it's 2.0.6. Okay, a lot of fixes did happen in this version. Okay, so if you're still having issues doing anything, I would recommend making sure you're here, downloading, update it if you haven't already. If you're still having issues, I know a few people have said that deleting the app and then reinstalling it did actually fix some of the issues. Okay, as far as especially with having your balances and such appear correctly, you're going to want to definitely make sure you're on there. Okay, and then also for Solana cluster, make sure you're on mainnet and not the dev mode. Some people were saying that, oh, I have a one Solana, and it's because they were still in dev mode. So make sure you're on mainnet. Okay, so once you're here, have all that stuff here. Again, if you want to get your addresses, go to copy address, and it'll have the option for your Solana wallet and your Helium wallet, right? So that way you can, if you want to add to there and such, okay? So let's go back. So now the other big thing we want to look at are swapping, right? So this is the other big question. So whether you want to swap or you want to stake, go into this bottom right corner, this globe looking thing, and that's kind of like where your dApps are going to be, right? So if you want to delegate and you want to get your VEHNT, you would pick which one here. You click on there, and that's going to take you to that portion of it, right? So you're going to connect your Helium wallet, and then as it shows up here, you'll go into there, right? If that's something you want to do, this is where you would do it through, right? So let's just connect it, and then you would do it under your governance power, and it tells you how much Helium you have available to do that. And you would go in there and you would lock your tokens if you want to do that route. Me personally, again, that's not a route I'm going to take because to me, just the rates aren't that great, right? So it depends on what you're trying to do. I also trade my HNT a lot. That's how I do accrue more, just by swing trading. So again, this is not really something I would be into. If anything, I would want to try to be providing liquidity on different pools, right? So they do have more pairs now on the built-in one here. So for ease of use, if you go on Jupiter, you can go on here. Again, same thing, you're going to connect your wallet, right? That way you're on there, you're ready to go. You can see how much Sol you have, etc., etc. So they do have, so from the first day, they didn't really have any IoT pairs. Now they do, right? So if you want to go this route, which is going to get you a much better rate, let's go ahead and test that out. Okay, so you can go up here. We're going to search for it, right? So we want to do IoT, and they have different pairs. You can go straight to USDC if that's what you want to do, or if you want to just go to HNT, which is what I'm doing. So that's what I'm going to look for. So once you click it in there, you'll see it's the first thing there, right? So again, they do have different pairs. You can even do IoT to mobile, vice versa, whatever you want to do. Me personally, I'm looking for that HNT. So now that I go through there, I'm going to do the max, right? You go in here and you would put in the amount you want to do. Let's say you only do half. You can do half. I'm going to just do all of it. So now it's going to look up your best swap. Okay, so now remember doing it through the Treasury, I was only going to get half an HNT, right? But doing through Jupiter, I'm going to get 2.7 right now is the current best route, right? But again, you do have to have Sol in your wallet to do these transactions because the amount they gave you from the beginning isn't really going to be enough, okay? So now that we have that pair, that's the best thing. So that's what we want to do. But again, if you want to do other things, again, just click up here. Or actually easier just to go up here. So if, let's say I wanted to do to mobile, right? So now I want to look for mobile. So there's your IoT mobile pair. And same thing, it'll tell you how much mobile you want to get. Or if you want to do just straight USDC, same thing. It's the first one there. So that way you can kind of see the cash balance. So that initial cash balance we saw in the beginning, this is what it's based off of. Okay, so if you don't remember, I don't think I showed that part. Let's go back. So also when you go on here, this is something that was added now too. You can see the USDC amount or the USD amount under your IoT, which wasn't there before. Okay, so now you click on there. And again, it is that amount based on the current value, and it's what's on the DEXs, right? So let's go back to the DEX. Let's go back to Jupiter. Let's reconnect our wallet. And now let's do the swap. So let's go IoT to HNT. Boom, there. It's going to pull up the best thing. We're going to go to max. And it's showing there. So if I want to do that, right, here's your swap button. Here's a breakdown of everything, right? So also keep in mind that the swap rate isn't going to be like constant. It's going to change. It's going to change depending on, for example, right now HNT was kind of going up a little bit and then IoT has been going down, right? So keep that in mind that there will be better times to swap. If IoT does pump and let's say HNT goes down or stays neutral, you're going to get more HNT for your IoT at that point, right? So it's timing is going to be the big deal here, right? But if IoT stays flat or goes down, like for example, what's happening right now, where IoT is dumping because a lot of people are starting to figure this out. So they're going on here and they're selling, right? So it's currently down 25%. Like yesterday when I was kind of looking at it, I think it was going to get a little over 3. It was going to be like 3.2 or something like that, right? But currently a lot of people are swapping, which again was kind of my concern, but here we are. So again, you got to make sure you pay attention to these prices and see what time makes most sense, right? I'm just going to do it all now just to do it now. But realistically, depending on where you think, again, none of this is financial advice, but you have to take in consideration what you think is going to happen. If you think IoT is going to continue to dump, then you may want to swap now. If you're optimistic and you think it's going to go up, then you may want to wait a little bit, right? Again, the best combination would be for IoT to go up and HNT to go down. That way you get the max amount of HNT, right? Or just depending on the pair, whatever you're swapping for, those are the type of things you want to look at. Or if you're just doing straight up USDC, then obviously the greater the price for IoT, then the better it is, right? So we're going to currently do it. We're going to get about 2.71, which again, doing it through the Treasury was going to be only about half. So this is a little over 5 times better, right? So now we're going to hit swap. We're going to approve that transaction. It's currently swapping. And that's it, right? So now swap successfully swapped 10,000 for that. And that's it, right? So now we can go back. We'll go back to the beginning and we no longer have any IoT, but we do have more HNT, right? So HNT is in there now, so we did swap it successfully, and it's that easy, right? So that's kind of the cool thing again with Solana is that number one, everything's quick. Transactions are fairly cheap. Like I added half of a sol, right? So didn't even really touch that again, but they don't really give you enough to start out with. So you do want to send some if you do have any, just to have for like transactions. I just sent half a sol because I know that should last quite a while. But there you go, guys. And again, you are gonna have other options if you have access to Orca, Radium. You're gonna have different pairs. You're gonna be able to provide liquidity, do all those types of things. Probably not really going to do that, especially right now because that IoT token is dumping a pretty good amount, especially just from a few hours ago. So keep your eye on that price, right? If you're interested in swapping. And this is kind of what I was talking about, that it's going to be a pain, that it's now another step you got to do to maximize the amount you get, right? So it's going to take a couple days just to kind of get a good figure of what your actual HNT that you're going to be earning is, right? Because we're going to have to get our IoT. We're going to swap it, and then we'll start getting ballparks. So as we start getting consistent amounts of payouts, then we can really start seeing where we're at. If we're better off with this, if we're worse off, or how it's going to work, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. So I tried swapping initially with the amount of sol they gave you, and it's not enough. So you are going to have to add some. It's up to you how much you want to add. Again, I just added half a sol. That way I don't have to worry about it for a while. Okay, but just keep in mind that the Treasury is supposed to get better, but realistically, you're probably going to get your best bets over on the DEXs, okay? So again, guys, just wanted to give you that quick little overview. One other thing to mention, for those of you guys trying to track your activity, Helium Geek is now working on it. So that's my preferred app for just seeing activity on my device, right? So it currently, as of yesterday, make sure you update the app and your miners should be showing up on there. Okay, that's my recommendation for it. I've been using it since the beginning, and it's worked great. That way I can see if it's active, if it's doing its thing, etc., etc. All right, guys, just wanted to give you that quick rundown. I know a lot of people just aren't familiar with, connecting wallets and using DEXs and such. Just wanted to give you that quick little rundown, and that it is available. And the IoT token is dumping because a lot of people are figuring out the much better rate going through that DEX versus the Treasury, okay? So hopefully that does help some people out. Thank you for watching, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I am out.